this the issue was to bring the importance of the initial steps, which are very important. Sometimes you give this doing an RGU to your PG without telling him, and what you have to understand is what was the pre-operative imaging. What Dr. Paul has told, that without getting the roadmap of the ureter, he will not do anything. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
So he was bringing into the issue that without having the roadmap of the ureter, he will not do PCNL. At the same time, you have to just go back and see what has been the pre-operative imaging, whether it was a plain CT or IVU or a contrast CT. This all plays where if you have got a, usually we don't do MRI for the stone disease, especially if it is a renal failure, then only it's, otherwise usually the plain CT or contrast CT or IVU. So you have to keep in mind that we have to see the whole course of ureter to place the ureteric catheter. The idea was that all the steps, what begins well should end well. So you have to make a very good beginning. These are the few steps which can be written to surgeon's mind, because you are going for maybe for a complex case scenario. We don't know. We have not bought that. But the idea is all steps from the beginning should be very carefully tended. So I begin to the scenario 2, and my question will be to Dr. Ajay Bhandarkar. We have done, we have placed the ureteric catheter in the pelvic calcium system. We injected the contrast. One of my assistants was there with me and injected the contrast, and this is the mess which has happened.
Hello, full screen.
That you have to change the screen. Another PowerPoint will be there. The externalization PowerPoint.
I'm seeing the slides only.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Can you see the? I'll tell you, the whole system looks smudgy. There's nothing.
we are not seeing that
We are not
fluoro
seeing
image.
that. Chala, we are not seeing that.
Anyway, I got the question. See, here there are two scenarios. The first question says that when you place the retrograde catheter and the catheter slips out to the mid-ureter, we have several options.
No. Your question is, I have injected the contrast through the retrograde catheter, and there looks externalization, no outline of pelvical system. It's a smudgy kidney. You can see on the slide. Can you see it?
Sir,
No.
See,
That screen is not getting displayed. The other PowerPoint.
So I was just trying to comment on 2 points here. One is that if the catheter slips out in the mid-ureter, you can still inject the contrast, dilute contrast, and then see whether the contrast is reaching the pelvic calcium system. Or you can pass a guide wire to that ureteric catheter and try to push the ureteric catheter up if you want the ureteric catheter into the pelvis. If you see that there is an extravasation, the extravasation occurs only because when you have perforated the ureter while pushing the ureteric catheter. So if there is an edematous pelviureteric junction and in overzealous attempt, your tip of the Terumo guide wire may go, or this Teflon coated guide wire may go outside, or you may have overzealously pushed that guide wire or ureteric catheter beyond calyx, or you may have perforated the fornix of the calyx, or you may have put too much of a contrast so that there is a fornicial rupture. So all these are the causes of extravasation after the ureteric catheter has been put, before actual puncture starts. So these are 1 or 2 causes. These are the things which you should prevent. So generally, initially when we want to, delineate the pelvic calcium system, use a dilute contrast. Don't push undiluted contrast, because too much of a contrast, even if it goes out, it takes long time to disappear. But in like the picture which you are showing right now in this thing, that if there is extravasation, contrast is seen around the kidney all over, but there will be some contrast. It maybe at some 3 o'clock you see that there is a calyx which is filling up with the contrast. So somewhere the contrast has entered the pelvic calcium system. I might take a link or a hint from there and try to enter the pelvic calcium system. Or if you wait for a while, this contrast slowly disappears and it doesn't look as bad, maybe 5 or 10 minutes down the line. And then you just have to be patient. And you do not puncture the calyx and create more extravasation. Means haphazardly you should not, or in unorganized way you don't try to puncture the kidney. Let this contrast, disappear slowly, and let all pelvic calcium system or a part of the calyx delineate when you really want to puncture. The calyx which you have selected to puncture, or then you can go for an ultrasound guided puncture. You
Okay,
may
Dr.
try to inject a normal saline slowly. See, here you have to ask your assistant who is assisting that not too much of a fluid also should be injected. So not too much of a contrast also. It is hardly 5 or 7 ml of contrast is needed to delineate pelvic system. And it should be a slow IV bolus drug injection kind. It should not be pushed like one go push of the contrast.
Okay, Dr. Ajay, we agreed with you. We waited for a long time, but we have to wait at least 45 minutes.
No. So now this, what I want is that this picture, if it is same, I am seeing the calyx, I am seeing the pelvis. So my desired calyx is seen. I can still go ahead and puncture the desired calyx, and all this extravasation doesn't matter. All these things, a small perforation also causes a lot of. See, the picture looks horrible on the C arm. But if it is a small stone, if you are confident, you can go ahead and puncture the system and remove the stone. All this will settle down. Will settle down.
We didn't go for any puncture. We waited. It took us 45 minutes to let the contrast go. We injected the contrast again a dilute contrast, and we were able to puncture the system. But my question is, whenever we go to the various articles on PCNL and the literature on PCNL, nobody mentions about the dilution of contrast. What is the dilution of contrast? You have a 20 ml of a non-ionic contrast. How do you dilute it? Do you have a varying dilution or you have a fixed dilution?
No, I think it is the comfort level of the surgeon. I think the most diluted contrast. See, ultimately, we want a guide to enter the pelvic system. I think 20/80 or even 30/70 or 40/60 ratio of contrast and saline should be good enough. I think we should not be putting our undiluted contrast at all. Even too much of a thick contrast also is not good for the even proceeding further. What we want is a contrast is that in a fluoroscopic guided puncture in 0 degree and 30 degree, entire pelvic system should be nicely visible.
Okay, another question
what
is
level of dilution. There's no formula. I don't think that any book mentions any formula of the.
Yes. So we use for intravenous urogram and CT contrast CT, we use a non-ionic contrast. But a majority of the times in PCNL, we use a simple and non-ionic contrast. And patient is under anesthesia. Do you think that for this also we should be using iohexol or the non-ionic contrast, low molecular, low osmolar, or what is your view on that?
It is always safer to use a better material for the patient if the condition of the patient and the institute permits. But I think that for PCNL, routine PCNL procedure, once you overcome the learning of what are the basics, all these things are rare to happen. It doesn't happen every alternate day. So first and foremost thing is to prevent all these things to happen, and then I think non-ionic contrast is routine is good.
This is just we are asking is keeping in view, though very low incidence of hypersensitivity may happen, and patient is under general anesthesia. So we are trying to figure out whether we should make it a routine of using a low osmolar non-ionic contrast, or should it's okay to use even if we continue with the non-ionic ionic contrast.
I think I would prefer that way, which
Okay.
is safer.
Okay, and my another question to you is, when you are using contrast, you are diluting it. Do you mix with some color of like a few drops of methylene or betadine to have some impression that you are in the system and you are getting the same urine which is being injected, same fluid?
These are all various tips and tricks of knowing. But so far, in my practice, I have never done that. But
Okay.
times when from where if the infundibular stenosis is there and you don't know from where the opening is there, then you need all those things. But for a routine PCNL procedure, I think plain simple diluted contrast.
Okay. Okay. No, thank you, Dr. Ajay. I'll take the opinion of other panelists before I move to Dr. S.K. Paul and Dr. Ramesh, Dr. Padmaraj, and Dr. Lakshman Prabhu. In order, you can just give your comments also on this situation.
Yeah, I think the bottom line, which Dr. Ajay told is perfect, that the best thing is to prevent such a thing from happening. So our dictum will be never inject contrast till you put the patient prone and you're ready for puncture. Under the patient under prone position, first try to identify the axis of the stone, where the stone is. Because once contrast is injected, the position of the stone can be overwhelmed by the contrast, or the stone itself will be covered by the contrast. So we use a dilution about 40-60 or 50-50, and then put in the dye. It's always used under low pressure when you're ready to puncture. Never do an RGP before you're ready to puncture. The only reason why you need to do a retrograde study is if you have not imaged the ureter properly, or you're suspecting some ureteric pathology for any reason. Otherwise, don't inject contrast till the patient is ready for the puncture. And if it does happen, if it is minimal, you can easily salvage the situation. You can still identify the situation. Otherwise, you need to wait for at least about 15-20 minutes and gently inject a little saline. It might clear it out a bit. So by and large, if the extravasation is not too much, you can overcome it. But the best thing is to prevent such a thing from happening. Inject always under vision and inject under low pressure. And don't inject till you're ready to puncture the kidney.
Dr. Padmaraj?
Dr. Challa, I agree with Dr. Ajay Bhandarkar, sir, what he told, because the pelvic ulcer system is slightly seen. I think we can puncture it here. It shouldn't be a problem.
What second picture you are seeing is after waiting for 45 minutes.
Okay. No, I agree with Dr. Ramesh also what he told. I think you should inject only when you're ready.
Yes.
And slow injection, I think that's the only thing to prevent extravasation.
Dr. Lakshman?
Yeah, see, I think most of the points have been covered. I totally agree with Dr. Ramesh in the sense that the injection should be gentle. It should be, in the format of a trickle under fluoroscopic control. Now, the dilution which we routinely use and emphasize on using dilute contrast is only for this reason. 50-50 dilution. And in case there is an extravasation, it clears rapidly. Now, in case there is a clouding, heavy clouding, you can still use concentrated contrast and light up the collecting system, and you will be able to see moon within the clouds. So you will always be able to, hit one of the desired calyces. So I would use undiluted contrast in a scenario like that. But, always we are able to, more often than not, able to manage with 50-50 dilution, and which we insist. As far as injection is concerned, it should be gentle and no farnicial rupture in that case.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, sir. So what we do is less than 50-50 for the initial contrast, seeing the pelvic system. If you land up into this type of situation, then more than a little more concentrated. So less than 50, maybe 1/3, 2/3, then probably little more than half of will be contrast, and less than half will be this. Dr. Ajay, I am continuing with you. What we did is use a nice system, a solitary stone in the pelvis, and we entered with the needle, and the assistant was just going with the pushing, and this is the thing which has happened. What you will do now?
This is happening while trying to puncture the.
Yes.
Again, same thing has happened, that somewhere you have violated the integrity of the pelvic LSL system. So it is always better to put a very dilute contrast. You don't need such a thick delineation of the rest of the pelvic LSL system. What you want is just outline from where you should enter and from where you should not go. So all these things, once the extravasation takes place, it takes a long time to clear. But I would rather put now normal saline and wipe out everything from the pelvis and rest of the calyx. So again, I'll put a dilute contrast and proceed, because these things routinely happen. You cannot always have a perfect puncture always. So you try to go and have a peripheral puncture with your second try. This small, needle puncture extravasation does not matter unless you mess it up with furthermore, dilatation. So first, puncture related extravasation you can ignore. You can reduce the concentration of the contrast from the rest of the pelvic system. Just what you want is a peripheral, fornicial entry into that system. So you should be able to see that much and follow that. Follow the proper puncture guideline and try to re-enter the pelvic system.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ajay. Over to you, Dr. Pal, for summing up this scenario.
Yeah, Arun sir, the best CM machines also are only 100 MA machines. So 100 MA resolution is limited. You cannot go beyond that. And whatever we see opacification of the system is actually the contrast enhancement. Only then we can visualize the system. So if the patient is very thick built, his image will be very shady, where it will not be very clear. So you need a higher concentration of contrast, and higher concentration means 20 milliliter of dye and 20 milliliter of saline. But if the patient is very lean and thin, and just to opacify the system to adequate contrast enhancement, I will put 20 ml of dye and 60 ml of saline. So it will come 80 ml of the diluted contrast. In the first 1 ml of contrast or half an ml is injected very slowly, continuous supervision when your foot switch is on, and when the dye is going in, you should see how it is spilling into the pelvic calyceal system. If you feel that it is extravasating, immediately try to withdraw the ureteric catheter. Ultimately, it has gone through the same ureter into the PUJ and gone outside. Sometimes if the stone is impacted right at the PUJ, you might have gone outside right at the PUJ and now you are extravasating. So you may have to pull the ureteric catheter as low as into the ureter, because up to that you are in the pelvic calyceal system. Then inject the contrast.
Okay.
So that is what my answer will be. And I always put 1 or 2 drops of betadine inside the contrast, diluted contrast, so that everybody in the theater does not get confused. It is only for that. Sometimes by mistake, if you inject in place of saline, if you inject contrast, that creates a lot of confusion. So everybody should be able to operating, the nurse and your assistant should know this is contrast and this is saline. So two drops of betadine has to be put in.
Okay. Yeah, so the idea was to emphasize that especially the system which are not dilated much, even a small rise of pressure with just initial push only can open the lymphatic and the lymphovenous and the farinaceal rupture. So you have to be very careful. That was the issue.